Okay, picture this. It's the dream, right? You're pedaling through northern Spain.
Mm.
It's, I don't know, maybe 8:20 a.m. The mist is just starting to lift off these incredible medieval stone villages. The air is crisp. It smells like pine.
Mm.
And you're just gliding.
You're strong.
You're climbing a mountain pass, but you feel strong. You know that in a few days, you're going to roll into that famous square in Santiago de Compostela, drop your bike, and just feel this massive spiritual accomplishment. That's the vision.
It is a beautiful image, and I think that's the movie trailer version of the trip. And for some people, that is exactly what happens. But, well, there is another version of this story.
Oh.
One that is significantly less romantic and involves a lot more cursing.
Right, the version where you're 3 days in, you're cursing every single pothole because your lower back is screaming.
Your hands are numb.
Your hands are completely numb. The bike feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. And you were just praying for the sun to go down so you can stop moving.
Precisely. And the difference between those two realities, the dream versus the nightmare, it often has very little to do with your fitness level.
Really?
It usually comes down to boring old logistics, specifically the machinery you choose to bring with you.
And that is what we are deep diving into today.
Hmm.
We're looking at this really comprehensive guide from Cycling Rentals.
Yeah.
Now, these aren't just guys with a bike shop. They're a group that has supported thousands of cyclists on the Camino. They've seen every possible way this can go wrong.
They've seen it all. And what's so valuable about this source is that they've identified 7 specific, totally avoidable mistakes that first-timers make.
And these aren't just minor things like, oh, I forgot my favorite snack.
No. These are make-or-break errors. We're
Yeah.
talking about the difference between a miserable slog and the journey of a lifetime.
So our mission today is simple. We're going to walk, or maybe cycle through these 7 mistakes so that you don't have to learn them the hard way.
And trust me, you do not want to learn these lessons when you are 400 kilometers from nowhere with a breakdown.
Absolutely not. Okay, so let's get into it. Mistake number 1 seems incredibly basic, almost administrative, but apparently it trips people up every single year.
It does.
It's the last-minute booker.
Yes, the procrastination trap. You know, we live in this age of instant gratification.
Right.
You book an Uber 3 minutes before you need it. You book a hotel from the driveway. And we just assume bike rentals work the same way. The logic is it's a bike shop. They'll have bikes.
I can totally see myself doing that. I mean,
Yeah.
how hard can it be to find a bike in Europe?
But here's the reality check. The Camino has a very specific peak season. From April through September, thousands of people are on these routes. And you have to remember, this isn't a normal rental.
What do you mean?
It's a one-way logistical chain. You start in the mountains and you end at the ocean.
Right.
So the rental provider needs time to prep the bike, customize it to your height, and ship it to your starting point. If you book a week out, the good bikes are just gone.
So if you wait, you're not getting the shiny, perfect machine you imagined.
No. You are getting what the source calls whatever's left in the shed.
Oh, no.
Maybe the frame is too small. Maybe it's a heavy mountain bike when you wanted a tourer. You are rolling the dice on the most important piece of equipment for an 800-kilometer journey.
That is a gamble I would not want to take. So what's the fix? How far out do we need to be planning?
The bare minimum is 2 weeks. That's the panic line. But if you're going in high season, you really want 3 to 4 weeks.
Got it.
You want to secure the bike that fits you, not just whatever has 2 wheels.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-mm.
So let's say we booked early, we're feeling good, but now we have to choose the bike. And this brings us to mistake number 2, the terrain reality check.
This is a huge one. There's this massive misconception that the Camino is basically a long paved bike path.
Yeah, I'll admit, when I see photos, I see paved roads or nice smooth dirt paths. It looks very civilized.
And those places exist, but they are the highlights. The reality of the full 800 kilometers is mixed terrain. We are talking gravel, rocks, steep climbs, mud,
And potholes.
and potholes. The source actually describes some of them as large enough to swallow a small dog.
That's a terrifying visual. So a road bike is probably a bad idea.
It's a disaster. First-timers often want one because they look sleek, they're fast.
But on gravel and rocks,
Yeah.
that sounds painful.
It's brutal. It has 0 shock absorption. You will feel every single pebble in your wrists and your shoulders, and you're going to get pinch flats constantly. The bike is just too fragile.
Okay, so the logical reaction is to go the other way, right?
Yeah.
Get a huge mountain bike.
Right. Big suspension, knobby tires. It handles the rocks, sure, but then you hit the pavement and you pay the price.
How so?
Mountain bikes are heavy,
Yeah.
and the suspension actually saps your pedaling energy.
Yeah.
Just pushing dead weight for no reason on the flat sections.
Too fragile or too inefficient. Where is the sweet spot?
The source strongly recommends a quality touring bike or a gravel bike. Think of them as the SUVs of the cycling world.
Okay.
They have the sturdiness for the potholes, but the design is all about comfort over long days. It's the Goldilocks solution.
Not too fragile, not too heavy, just right.
Exactly. And you gotta trust the rental guys on this. If they suggest a gravel bike, just listen to them. They're trying to save your wrists.
Right. Okay, so we've booked early, we picked a gravel bike, now we get to the actual physical side. Mistake number 3, the fit factor.
This is where things get painful. And I don't mean my legs are tired painful. I mean repetitive strain injury.
Oof. The scenario is,
Uh-huh.
you book online, you give them a vague height, about 5'10"-ish, and you just hop on and go.
And that is a recipe for disaster. You have to understand the math here. You're cycling, what, 60, 80 kilometers a day? You are turning those pedals thousands of times.
It's highly repetitive.
So if your saddle is even 2 centimeters too low, you are multiplying that tiny error by 20,000 reps a day.
Wow.
Riding a bike around the block with a bad fit is annoying. Riding one across Spain is an injury waiting to happen.
They're talking knee pain, back aches, numb hands.
All of the above. We see tendinitis, cyclist's palsy, where the nerves in your hands get compressed.
Right.
It can end your trip on day 3.
So what's the protocol? How do we avoid that?
First, accurate measurements when you book. Measure your inseam. But more importantly, the source suggests the 10-minute rule when you arrive.
The 10-minute rule. I like that. What is it?
When you pick up the bike, don't just ride away. Spend 10 minutes in the parking lot. Adjust the saddle height. Check the reach to the handlebars.
And a good rental company expects this. You're not being difficult.
Not at all. A good mechanic wants you to be comfortable. Ask them to raise the seat, swap the stem. Those 10 minutes can save you 2 weeks of agony.
Be the high-maintenance customer for 10 minutes so you don't have to be the injured customer later.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move to mistake number 4. This one is about physics, the weight equation.
Yes, physics is undefeated, and this is where expectation meets a very harsh reality.
The source says people test ride a bike at home, totally empty, and they think, okay, I could do 100 kilometers a day, no problem.
Right. They plan their whole trip based on that empty bike speed, and then they show up, load the bike with panniers, water, tools, and suddenly the bike behaves completely differently.
It's heavier, obviously.
Yeah.
But how much does it really change things?
Everything. It's slower to accelerate, it takes longer to stop, it's less nimble, and most importantly, it is so much harder to climb with.
Right. Gravity.
Gravity does not care about your optimism. A 10% grade with 15 kilos of gear is a completely different athletic event.
So that daily distance you plan might be totally unrealistic.
It probably is, but there's a second part to this weight mistake that's even more critical. The source calls it the rucksack rule.
Which is...
Do not wear a backpack.
But that seems so natural. You see hikers on the Camino, they all have backpacks.
If you are walking, yes. If you are cycling, it is a hard no.
Why is it such a big deal?
2 reasons. First, your center of gravity is all wrong. The weight is high up on your body, it throws off your balance, it's dangerous. But secondly, think about your body. You're leaning forward. The backpack compresses your spine and drives all your weight into the saddle.
Ouch.
So it makes your butt hurt more, it strains your shoulders, and it creates a horrible sweaty patch on your back.
It sounds miserable.
Hmm.
So panniers are the only way to go.
Panniers and bike racks. Let the bike carry the weight, not your body. You have enough work to do.
Let the machine do the heavy lifting. Speaking of which, let's talk about e-bikes. This is mistake number 5, the e-bike logistics.
E-bikes have absolutely changed the game. They are brilliant for taking the sting out of those brutal climbs.
I can imagine, instead of dying on a hill, you're actually looking around and enjoying the view.
Exactly. But they introduce a tether that regular bikes don't have, the power outlet. You are now dependent on the grid.
And I've heard trying to pedal a dead e-bike is not fun.
It's awful. They're incredibly heavy. You're basically pushing a tank, so you have to charge it every single night. And this brings us to the hidden trap.
The accommodation problems?
Right. You're staying in albergs, pilgrim hostels, or old converted monasteries. Many of them have a strict rule. No muddy bikes inside the bedrooms.
So where does the bike go?
Into a shed, or a courtyard, or a basement, and those places rarely have power outlets.
Oh, I see where this is going. If you rented an e-bike, where the battery is built into the frame.
You're in serious trouble. You either have to argue with the owner to haul the entire muddy bike up 3 flights of stairs.
Which they will probably say no to.
Correct. Or you have to leave your expensive bike unsupervised in a hallway overnight. Neither is a good option.
So the fix here is all about the hardware.
The source calls this the non-negotiable solution. You must rent an e-bike with a removable battery.
That seems so simple, but I would not have thought to check that.
Most people don't. But if it's removable, the problem disappears. You park the bike, lock it up, pop the battery off, and take just the battery up to your room.
You plug it in like a phone.
Exactly. It's a game
Okay.
changer.
That is a pro tip.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about what we're putting in those panniers. Mistake number 6, the overpacking trap.
This is a psychological battle. We pack based on fear. What if it rains every day? What if I need 3 extra pairs of shoes?
I am so guilty of this. I'm the just-in-case packer.
And on a normal vacation, that's fine. But on a bike tour, every unnecessary gram is dead weight. You have to haul up every single hill. The source is very clear. Fear weighs a lot.
So how do we break the cycle?
The source suggests a filter. You go through your packing pile, and for every item you ask, will I actually use this?
Okay.
And you ask it 3 times. If the answer isn't a screaming yes, it stays home.
That is strict. What does a realistic kit actually look like then?
It's surprisingly sparse. 2 sets of cycling clothes, a basic repair kit, minimal toiletries, and 1 set of off-bike clothes.
Just one. For the whole trip.
Just one. You have to shift your mindset. You are a pilgrim. No one cares if you wear the same clean t-shirt to dinner 2 nights in a row.
It's a relief, actually.
And here's the key thing that eases the anxiety. You are not cycling through the wilderness. You are in Spain.
Right. Civilization exists.
You are passing through villages constantly. They have shops. If you need toothpaste, buy toothpaste. You don't need to carry a convenience store on your back.
That's a great perspective. And the source also mentions luggage transfer services for people who just can't do it.
Yes, very popular. If comfort is your priority, you can pay a service to drive your main suitcase from hotel to hotel.
It's not cheating.
It's not cheating, it's logistics. If it makes the trip enjoyable for you, do it.
Okay, final mistake. You've booked early, got the right bike, packed light. You arrive at your destination, and then, mistake number 7, the storage surprise.
This is the sting in the tail. You've had a long day. You are tired, hungry, covered in dust. You roll up to your hotel.
And the person at the front desk looks at your bike and just shakes their head.
Exactly. Sorry, no bikes allowed, or we have no room.
That sounds incredibly stressful. What do you even do?
Well, you can't just leave a 2,000 euro rental bike locked to a street lamp overnight. So now you're wandering around a strange village at 7 p.m., exhausted, trying to find a safe place for your bike.
So how do we avoid that panic?
It takes 5 minutes of work before you leave home. When you book your accommodation, you have to contact them specifically to ask about secure bike storage.
So don't just assume bike-friendly.
Never assume. Ask explicitly. Do you have a locked room? A courtyard? A garage? Getting that confirmation in writing saves you so much stress.
It really seems like the theme here is that the physical challenge is one thing, but the misery usually comes from bad logistics.
That is the perfect summary. The climbing should be hard. The distance should be tiring. That's the pilgrimage. That's the good kind of suffering.
Right.
But the back pain from a bad fit or the panic of a dead battery, that is optional suffering.
Optional suffering. I like that. We want to eliminate the optional stuff.
Exactly. So you can focus on the meaningful stuff. You want your memories to be of the cathedrals you saw, not the argument you had with a receptionist about a bike battery.
So let's do a quick recap. What are the 7 commandments?
Right. To turn the slog into a journey. 1. Book early.
2 to 4 weeks.
2. Pick the right bike, gravel, or touring.
3. Check the fit, the 10-minute rule.
4. Respect the weight panniers only, no backpacks.
5. If you go electric, that battery must be removable. Non-negotiable.
6. Stop fear packing. Bring less than you think.
And 7. Confirm your bike storage before you arrive.
It's a checklist. And if you get those details right, the bike just disappears and you're left with the experience.
I love that idea. The bike should be an extension of you, not an obstacle you're fighting.
Exactly.
Well, a huge thank you to the team at Cycling Rentals for these insights. They obviously know their stuff.
It's valuable wisdom. They are basically trying to save us from ourselves.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with a thought. We often talk about the Camino as a place of suffering. It's almost a badge of honor. But listening to this, I wonder how much of that is actually necessary.
That's a profound question.
If you treat the preparation with the same respect as the pilgrimage itself.
Yeah.
does the suffering become optional? Does it just become a challenge instead of a punishment?
I think it does. And I think when you remove the punishment, what's left is the joy.
Something to mull over as you plan your next adventure. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
Safe travels, everyone.
We'll see you on the next one.